All right, YouTube, we're back. We're working on the charger today. I went ahead and started putting some of the interior back in, carpet, a lot of the trim panels. As you can see, not everything's back. We are missing some things. Center console. I have the headliner, which is a big bonus. Have the stereo, got to figure all that stuff out. But none of that stuff matters. We're working on, we're trying to figure out the couple issues it has. The starting issue with the starter, we can jump the relay to get it to start, but the ignition doesn't do anything when you go to try and start it. So it could be the ignition switch. It could also be wires to the starter. I went down there and looked. Nothing seemed too suspect. So yeah, I cleaned off the contacts on it because this thing does see a lot of rust. So I went ahead and cleaned the contacts just to make sure that it's not just bad connection or something. But it also has a fueling issue, and this will stop it from passing smog. Even if this thing's not in limp mode or no check engine lights, if we can't start it through the ignition, it won't pass smog.
And we did fail smog the other day.
Yeah, we did take it to fail so we can get our 30 days. Not this sucker popping up like that. That was not spring loaded like the others. They usually spring out of there. Look at that fucking gas coming out already. Oh, too much. Too much fuel coming out. Why is there so much fuel in this thing? If you're ever working on fuel, always have some rags. And then be careful throwing sparks when you're, using metal to take those rings off. Always cover your fuel. Alright, and another thing that I did notice, I was having a hard time getting this fuel line off, this fuel pump. And every model is different, every car is different, so. But the way they designed this, or maybe it's just turned wrong when somebody did something to it. No, because the head on that is pointing up and down too, the lock. So yeah, the way they designed this, or the way this head was put on, this is a little squeeze release thing, a little tab, and there was no way for me. I could push the top in, but I couldn't physically get anything on the bottom. I was trying to use my little screwdrivers and my little pry bar, because it could almost get under there, my little tab puller, but I couldn't get enough pressure on that thing to get it to release. So I thought, at first I thought like a wire, just put a wire underneath and tighten it, but zip ties always do a little bit better, so that'll help you get that thing off. Yours is set up like mine. Mine's... we got so much fuel. There goes all my fuel.
Mercedes.
I own my very first Mercedes.
Mopar.
Damn it, I need another rag. Dirty rags. Well, there was supposed to be a filter on that. That's what I was getting in there to check, but I didn't see no filter on that thing.
No filter?
I didn't see no filter on it.
Interesting.
But it could, if that's a pump itself, then it could be weak. It could need replaced. This one, I mean, I have a spare one inside, and it, so I think they did replace this one. Should I go ahead and pop that and see what it does? See if more fuel comes out?
Yeah.
My bet is it does. Yep, fuel's coming out. Why? What should I do? Because I need to inspect this. I'm gonna jack it up more. Unless this thing is just weak and dead and needing replaced. Oh, scheiße. Wait, I got my razor there. Yeah, and this flap wasn't even, I cut this myself. This one, they had already been under. This one wasn't cut, so I don't think they even looked under this side. So that means this could be very well be a dead pump. Yeah, well that sucks. I was hoping for a clogged fucking filter. Dang it. Look, I just noticed this bumper's all fucking smashed up too, and they tried doing some shitty ass repair. I'm like, what the fuck?
Is that duct tape?
No, it's probably like fiberglass. Yeah. Look at these fucking
Spider webs.
this fucking car. I'm gonna honk the horn, so.
Ooh. Ah!
Still scared ya. You go honk the horn.
Okay. Deal.
I don't think it's gonna do anything though. Yeah, so I think it might be the ignition switch.
So we have the ignition switch on the way to see if that will work. We're basically just trying to get it to start by the key instead of by this.
Yeah, and the starter fluid. We can't be spraying this thing down with starter fluid.
Not good for it to rely on starter fluid.
Why are these bulbs all pulled out of the fucking...
The more you look, the more you look, the more you find. There's some headlights. Ah!
Hey.
The headlights work. Not on, but it really is. Those creeps. What?
It really feels like there's something hard in there. I don't know if it's like the inside of this hose giving out or something. I almost want to fucking take this off though. Oi!
The more you look.
I don't have coolant. I don't want to take that off. You just gotta do it. Okay, got a spring inside there. How come nobody told me about that? Why when it's squeezing my hoses.
Yeah, for the next person, there's a spring in there.
Yeah, hey YouTubers.
He got it to start with the key, y'all.
Yeah. It still acts all funny like.
Let me go in there.
I don't know. I was holding it down and I let it go and I kept trying it and then it started to turn over. So I kept trying it and it fired up. Man, it didn't even have no problems that time. No way. I cleaned off every ground that's on this thing.
Started with the key.
No way.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't have to spray that stuff anymore. That means you don't need the ignition switch.
Or the fuel pump.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did manage to get this thing to fire up on its own accord, you know, through the key, which is a big deal. You know, I thought I was fighting a lot of things like fuel issues and starter issues, and so I no longer need this jumper wire in here. I don't have to jump relays, put fresh relays and everything. But what I didn't get on camera because it just seemed so monotonous was cleaning every single ground strap that's on this thing. And there's a lot of grounds, you know. So there's one right here. You know, I think there's 2 in the engine bay, 2 in the trunk, 1 in the passenger side interior, and then there's, I think, one below or 2 below. 2 below. So there's 1 here, 1 here, 2 in the trunk. But I took every single one off, scrubbed them with contact cleaner, sprayed them down, and the worst looking one was the ground from the. I'm assuming it goes from the starter to the transmission to the bell housing, and it was super corroded. There's a lot of surface rust on this car because it sat right next to the ocean in McKinleyville. So yeah, and it was the hardest one to clean. But after all that, went ahead and tried the key, and as you see in the video, and it started.
Yes.
I could not believe it.
Starts by the key. Will it still start?
Yeah, there is something with the ignition. Like if you come in here and look, so look, this is my ignition right here. Look how much slop there is. You see how this whole thing moves?
Yeah.
I have to kind of move this around a little bit while it's in the start position to hit the starter.
Interesting.
Kind of have to jiggle it. But before it wouldn't do nothing because I did mess with it, and so I think cleaning every single ground strap on this thing did it some good. You know, I cleaned this cable, I cleaned this ground strap, you know, negative ground strap right here. I had this opened up. I just got this back on here. But I cleaned this guy because it was all rusty. I cleaned this ground strap back here because it was, you know, everything just looked like this. You know, everything. There was like 4 points of contact in the trunk, actually, not just ground, but 4 points of contact. I forgot this thing needs its coolant bled because I did pop that upper
Yeah, we popped that
radiator
tube off.
hose. I popped that thing open. Man, so I go ahead and squeeze this thing, and it feels like there's something in there. And like, this is my first Dodge. This is my first, you know, Mopar, and apparently there's a spring inside there. Big old long spring to keep this hose from collapsing under, you know, high RPMs, running that water pump. It'll actually collapse these hoses. So they put a spring in there to stop that. Not know what was going on in there. But just shows, man, that's something up that hasn't been touched on this car. Nobody's taken that off and removed that, you know, that spring.
Yeah.
39,000 miles. I think we're getting close too. I think we're getting close. All right, well, that's it for this episode. The next thing we're gonna do is next couple days I'm gonna go up to DMV and get my 30-day tags for this thing. I got the temporary day tag, but it only does me so much good. So yeah, I'm gonna get those 30-day tags, and we will be back. See y'all on the next one. Like and subscribe.